What if the most shocking moment in Spider-Man Brand New Day isn't even in the movie, but in the final seconds after everything fades to black? I started thinking about this theory the moment I saw how carefully Marvel has been setting up its next massive arc, and something about Spider-Man Brand New Day feels different. Not louder, not bigger, but quieter, more personal. After everything that happened in Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter Parker is completely alone. No Avengers, no friends, no identity. Just a small apartment, a sewing machine, and a life stitched together from scratch. And that's exactly why this theory makes so much sense to me. Because when a character is at their lowest, that's when something or someone enters their life and changes everything. I noticed how Marvel loves using these quiet endings to drop the loudest hints, and this one might be their boldest yet. The movie has ended on an emotional note. Peter has fought, struggled, maybe even started rebuilding his life. The tone is grounded, street level. There's no massive sky beam, no multiversal explosion, just Peter surviving. The credits begin to roll, and for a moment, it feels like the story is complete. But then, like always, the screen fades back in. We're inside Peter's apartment. It's dimly lit. There's silence, except for the faint hum of the city outside. And Peter is there, maybe sitting by the window, maybe working on his suit. That's when something shifts. Not visually at first, but through feeling. His spider sense. I kept coming back to this detail. Spider sense doesn't just react to danger, it reacts to presence, to intent, to something being off. And suddenly Peter feels it, that sharp, instinctive jolt. He freezes, not in fear exactly, but in confusion, because this presence isn't loud or chaotic like the villains he's faced before. It's controlled, calculated, almost calm. And then we hear a voice, low, commanding. It cuts through the silence like it owns the room. It simply says, Peter. No introduction, no explanation, just his name. And that's when everything changes. Because Peter turns, and what happens next is the part that gave me chills when I first imagined it. He doesn't say, "Who are you?" He doesn't jump into a fight. Instead, he hesitates. His face shifts from alertness to something deeper. Recognition, confusion. And then he says something that feels impossible. "Mr. Stark?" That one line carries so much weight. Because it tells us that whatever he's seeing, whatever he's sensing, somehow reminds him of Tony Stark. Not logically, not visually, but emotionally. And that's where I started connecting the dots. Dr. Doom is not just another villain. He's not chaotic like Loki or purely destructive like Thanos. Doom is strategic. He's intelligent on a level that rivals, maybe even surpasses, Tony Stark. And if Marvel is planning to introduce him properly, this is exactly how they would do it. Not with explosions, but with presence, with control. I think what Peter is sensing in that moment isn't familiarity. It's intellect, authority. The same kind of overwhelming presence that Tony had, but twisted, different, darker. And that's why Peter's reaction is so important. Because it tells us that Doom isn't just entering the story. He's stepping into a space that was once filled by someone else. And then I started thinking about timing. Why place this scene here? Why connect Doom to Spider-Man first? It didn't make sense at first until I realized something. Peter is currently the most disconnected hero in the MCU. No one knows him. No one is guiding him, which makes him the perfect entry point. Doom doesn't walk into Avengers Tower. He doesn't announce himself to the world. He starts small, personal, controlled. He approaches Peter not as a threat, but as something else. Maybe an observer. maybe even a recruiter. And that's what makes this scene so powerful. It doesn't tell us Doom's plan, it makes us question it. Now imagine the visual. We don't even fully see Doom's face, just a silhouette. Maybe a glimpse of the mask, the iconic metal reflecting the dim light of the apartment. There's no dramatic music, just tension. Pure, silent tension. And Peter is standing there, caught between instinct and memory. Because his spider sense is telling him something is wrong, but his heart is telling him something feels familiar. And that conflict is what sells the moment. Because for the first time since losing everything, Peter is faced with something that connects to his past in the most unexpected way. I also noticed how Marvel loves ending films with a promise, not a conclusion, but a continuation. And this is where the scene reaches its peak. There's no fight, no explanation, just that moment of confusion hanging in the air. Doom doesn't respond immediately. Maybe he tilts his head slightly, almost amused. Maybe he takes a step forward. And just as we're about to get an answer, the screen cuts to black. Silence. And then the text appears. Peter Parker will return in Avengers Doomsday. That's it. No extra dialogue, no resolution. Just a statement that shifts the entire future of the MCU. And if that wasn't enough, I think Marvel might go even further, because there's been this pattern before. When Spider-Man No Way Home released, they attached a preview of Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness right after. It wasn't just a teaser, it was a direct bridge, and I think they might repeat that strategy here. As soon as the credits end, the screen doesn't go back to normal. Instead, it transitions into something bigger, darker. The first official trailer for Avengers Doomsday, and this is where everything explodes. The tone would be completely different. Where Brand New Day was quiet and personal, this trailer would be huge, overwhelming, filled with glimpses of chaos. We'd see fragments, cities falling, heroes assembling, and at the center of it all, Doom fully revealed, not just as a presence, but as a force. And suddenly, that small apartment scene makes sense, because it wasn't random. It was the beginning, the first move in a much larger game. Doom didn't just appear, he chose his moment, he chose Peter. I think what makes this theory so compelling is how it respects both characters. It doesn't reduce Doom to a typical villain entrance, and it doesn't throw Peter into another world-ending crisis immediately. Instead, it builds a bridge, a quiet, unsettling connection between two completely different worlds, and that's exactly how you start a saga. Not with noise, but with a whisper that turns into something unstoppable, because once Doom is in the picture, everything changes. The rules, the stakes, the alliances, everything. And when I replay this idea in my head, that one line keeps echoing, Mr. Stark. It's not just a question, it's a reminder of who Peter lost, of what he's been trying to rebuild, and of how easily that void can be filled or manipulated. Because if Doom understands that, if he sees that vulnerability, then this isn't just a setup for Avengers Doomsday. It's the beginning of something much more personal for Peter Parker, something that could redefine who he becomes next. That's why I think this scene, if it happens, won't just be a teaser. It will be a turning point, a moment where the grounded, lonely world of Spider-Man collides with the calculated, unstoppable rise of Dr. Doom. And we, as the audience, are left right in the middle of it, trying to understand what just happened. And honestly, if Marvel pulls this off the way I'm imagining it, this might become one of the most talked about post-credit scenes ever. Not because of what it shows, but because of what it promises.